24 hours away from the draft. I have the big man on campus right here on pubsportsradio.com, and we are going to sink our teeth into some interesting moves here, Jeff, because as we take a look at the top 5 wide receivers, which the goal of today, Jeff, I want your input on exactly where these guys are going to go. Not the actual teams they're going to, but in what draft order 1 through 5 of the top guys listed, because as of last night, Jeff, how about this? We had some movement here. Jerry Jeudy no longer the number 1 option to be taken at wide receiver. What's going on with these smoke screens out here, Jeff?
Well, yeah, and look, we've talked about this all week, Donnie. You're going to have things that are going to come out. There are going to be certain guys that are going to be, oh, now we're worried about something that happened a year and a half or 2 years ago, or, this guy has an injury risk, something like that. Is it a smoke screen? Has it been put out, kind of as a way to turn teams off so another team can take that guy? I find it interesting, Donnie, that the report about Jerry Jeudy I saw come from Philadelphia all of a sudden. Is that Howie Roseman's doing? I don't know. But as far as this class, I've said before, and I think you know this, and everybody knows this, this receiver draft is unbelievable. I mean, there's so much talent. I mean, and as we've talked about before, I mean, even into the second, third, fourth rounds, yeah. I mean, you're going to be able to get players that are going to be able to contribute immediately. I have some different views on this draft than other people do. Obviously, I think you have two types of receivers. You have the water bug, Tyreek Hill type, and then you have the DeAndre Hopkins, bigger,
go get it guys.
Yeah, the go get it guys. The guy that can go up and get the football that you want on the outside. You have a slot receiver like a Justin Jefferson. So there's so many different types of receivers. But yeah, I think at this point, Donnie, and why I've always been so interested in T. Higgins, which a lot of people don't like T. Higgins, which I'm not quite sure why. I don't know what the knock on T. Higgins is. I don't. If you could answer it, I'd like to hear it. I feel like he has everything you'd want in a receiver. But I think CeeDee Lamb's obviously going to be your number 1 at this point. I have some concerns with CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, his playing in the Big 12 is a concern, as always. I think you always worry about that. I don't love him against press coverage. I think he at points is a little weak. Donnie, we talked about reps. Now, reps aren't important, okay? I'm not going to try to say they are, but Donnie, do you know how many reps CeeDee Lamb did at the combine?
I do not. How much?
11.
Yeah.
Is he weak? Can he put some weight on? Can he become kind of that bigger kid? He seems a little brittle to me. But again, CeeDee Lamb has a lot of things that you like. You obviously, everything you look at, he is your guy. I'm not really necessarily believing in the Jerry Jeudy stuff. If you're asking me who the best receiver in this draft is, I would go with Jeudy. I would then go with Lamb. Ruggs is an interesting player. Obviously, he turned a lot of heads with his unbelievable speed. I mean, the guy runs a 4.3 40. He's incredible. I guess I haven't heard anyone, Donnie, maybe you have explained why they don't like certain receivers. Like, what's the knock on anything?
No, yeah, because to bring up your point there, when we take a look at T. Higgins and CeeDee Lamb is such a good, introspective look at both of these wideouts, because if you're saying like T. Higgins, well, he's dropping a draft because he played in the ACC. Your point that comes right back with CeeDee Lamb playing in the Big 12. Like, what is the knock when you watch T. Higgins? A guy that can beat you deep, a guy that can run routes, a guy that goes up and has soft hands that can make any catch in traffic anywhere or toe tapping on the sideline. I don't get that. And then also the Jerry Jeudy points that we bring up. This kid, Jeff, 2,500 yards between his sophomore year and his junior year. We heard about nothing about knee injuries or any problems. And you're telling me 48 hours ahead of the draft, hey, by the way, teams are dropping him because of his – what? Are we kidding ourselves here?
Right. And I think you make a good point about if you have the CeeDee Lamb concern against competition, why wouldn't you have it with Higgins or vice versa? I mean, both players, all due respect to the ACC – it's not that much different than the Big 12, frankly. The competition there is not good either. So, again, I think you have to waiver that. But, you look at a guy like Higgins, I think what makes him interesting as well is he has such versatility in the return game. I think all these guys can offer different things. But I don't understand, when you don't – I've seen people say that they don't think T. Higgins is a first-round pick. I mean, on what planet? He could arguably be the best receiver in this draft. I think from the comparison standpoint, he's got the things you look for. I think they're all really good at the end of the day. I don't think there's a lot to really I don't think Lamb and Jeudy are any better than any of these other guys. You look at a guy like Donnie Laviska Shenault.
Mm-hmm.
Could he maybe be if there were no injury concerns?
Yeah.
Where would you put him?
Yeah.
Because I'd put him in the top 3 or 4 receivers as well. So there's so many things you have to look at here. And at the end of the day, there's not a lot to separate these guys. They're all fast. There's some big, there's some small, but they all have the ability to just bully corners. And it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter. You're going to get solid football players. There's a few guys that I'm concerned with. I mean, Denzel Mims is probably one of them. Donnie, have you read some of his comments before the draft? Have you read?
No, I haven't heard much from Denzel Mims over the past week and a half. What's he doing?
Yeah, Denzel Mims, I'm starting to get a little concerned with his overall psyche. It's odd. For anyone that doesn't know, Denzel Mims is from a town with about 2,000 people in it. Very small Texas town. He's a Texas guy. It's what he is. He's not very experienced, Donnie, in the big city, and that's truth. On a recent trip with Matt Rule, they went to Philadelphia to see what the city was about, meet with the Eagles. This was before all this stuff happened. He made some odd comments. Like, basically, he was incredibly scared to go to a city that big. He saw people in the street that looked scary. Like, they were odd comments, frankly. Like, a comment that I don't necessarily want out of a player. I mean, you're a grown adult. You're going and saying you're scared to go. Like, it's odd. The comments are odd. Throw in the fact that he had some real drop problems. To me, he comes across as a second or third option on a team. He's not my go-to receiver. If you're going to put anyone in the second round, I would put him in the second round. He has some real red flags. Plus, I don't think he's real confident, to be honest.
All right, let's put you right on the hot seat, Jeff, here, because the topic of the video is top 5 wide receivers in order. Forget about the teams, Jeff. Give me your top 5 wide receivers in order being drafted tomorrow night.
Do you want me to give you my real opinion, or what do I think?
I want you. Okay. I want your opinion on this of what you think is going to happen. Yes.
Okay. See, it's so tough because
what's going to happen? Yeah, I want your opinion on how it's going to go tomorrow. Yeah, look, I know if you say I like Ruggs a little bit higher. Give me tomorrow, like the NFL. Well, what is that draft board going to?
Yeah, my draft was this. I had Lamb and Judy, 12, 13. Regardless of who it is, I think they go right there.
Okay.
I don't think people are buying into this injury stuff with Judy. I think Ruggs goes 15th to the Denver Broncos. Question is, does Philadelphia try to move to take Henry Ruggs? And then I think the 4th and 5th, I think are jockeyed between Higgins and Jefferson. And I think it's really about need at that point. Higgins is a go up and get it outside receiver, AJ Green type. Justin Jefferson's more of a slot guy. He was particularly strong in that area. So I think it's really about need at that point. I had Higgins going over Jefferson personally. So for me, it was Judy, Lamb, Ruggs, Higgins, Jefferson.
There you go. Draft. Jeff, we're 24 hours, just about 24 hours away from the draft. I can't wait till tomorrow. We'll certainly have another hot topic right here on pubsportsradio.com, getting you ready for the draft. And also, Jeff and myself, we're doing some live stuff throughout the draft. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. So make sure you join us here on pubsportsradio.com. For Jeff Nadeau, Donnie Seymour, tomorrow is the draft, and we'll have you ready for it.